How was it being paired with the franchise for those 3 glorious years in ECW?
It was, I have to say, it was a lot of fun, in all honesty. I think we've said this several times, both of us, but I think we clicked right from the beginning, and we had a chemistry that, I've been paired with a lot of different people, and I've never had the chemistry I've had with Shane. It just was, I think it was just a perfect match right from the get-go. He had so much experience, and I only had a couple years under my belt. So I was like a sponge. I was just trying to learn as much as I could from him. And it was great because he listened to ideas, and he wasn't the type of guy who dictated, you need to do this, you need to do that. It was more like a partnership, which I was thrilled with. Because here I am, little green girl. You didn't have to listen to anything I said, but you did. And I've told you before, I appreciated that to no end because, some of my ideas were really good and I wanted to get them in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a great pairing, I thought, and Paulie saw us as Sue Ellen and JR from Dallas.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't take a bullet for me. No, honestly, she was Francine from the first time. I'm not even sure if Francine knows this, but when I first came back from that trip to hell called WWF, there was a show in Los Battalion, Queens, and I wasn't on the show, but I was just thrilled to be back home. And in the time that I'd been gone, Franny and a whole lot of other new faces came in that I had never met before, and she was the one made promo with the Pitbulls. And I walked over and started giving her some pointers, and she went back and she nailed it. And Paul had since told me after that he saw a chemistry there. And, I've always said in my career that, whether it's me calling the match or whatever, 2 heads are better than one. And if we're going to be obviously Franny and I were going to be, I knew it from the beginning, was going to be an integral part of the ECW, then I certainly didn't want to sit there and try to constantly come up with things that, first of all, I'm not a woman, and if I was, I wouldn't be a beautiful woman. So Franny had the gift of being able to take the bumps and doing things like that made it come up with ideas, and then had so many ideas. We bounced stuff back and forth in the long drives between shows. It was just really an easy pairing, comfortable from the very beginning.
Right, and the funny part was, and I never knew that story, by the way. So but thank you. The funny part was when I was with the Pitbulls, I remember Paul telling me, "You're not going to be with them long," and I kind of felt like I didn't know what the next step was. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, who am I going to go with? I don't know. And then Brian Lee kept telling me, "You're coming with me. You're coming with me." And I said, "I am." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Because I'm not sure." "No, you're coming with me." So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going from this pleather, which I hated the gimmick. I hated dressing up in that dominatrix. Oh my God, it was the worst. I was going from the pleather to now a biker chick. So you got to get chaps and you got it. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, okay. Well, and I love Brian. We love Brian.
Oh yeah.
He was
absolutely.
awesome. He was awesome. But I just said to myself, okay, now I'm going to be a biker. And then when Paul called me, he asked me, "Do you know who I'm putting you with?" I said, "Yep, I'm going with Brian Lee." And he goes, "Why would you think that? Who told you that?" And I said, "Well, Brian Lee told me." And he said, "Don't listen to Brian Lee. You're not going to go with Brian." And I said, "Well, who am I working with?" And he says, "I'm putting you with Shane." I'm telling you, my jaw dropped. I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yep, you're going with Shane." And then he told me, "You need to go get these panties made and that say the franchise on them." So then I hang up the phone. I'm like, "Well, where the hell do I get panties with a name on them?" So I go and I look in the phone book because we didn't have Google back then. And, I found this little airbrush place and And I don't even think I knew about the table spot till maybe it was either the week before or the night before. I mean, he kayfabed me. Like, I think it might have even been the night before. Yeah, I think it might have even been the night before. And he's like, oh, by the way, you're down for a table tomorrow. Click. And I was like, no, okay. So, but I didn't care because I figured that would be such a big moment for me and for us as a pairing. You know, I was willing to just do whatever it took to try and get myself over. So
that is the first time I've ever heard that. And I was, to this day, I had always been curious as to how in the hell you had a thong with the franchise. I mean, I knew something must have been said, but I never knew exactly what was or wherever. But when you started taking that outfit off and had that underneath, I was like, that's pretty damn cool. You know, that's a cool gimmick. And
yeah,
you know, and then of course the power bomb came right after and just exploded the roof off the place. And
right.
That, and then, you know, a lot of things after, you know, the big bumps and, you know, the things that she was doing to quote unquote save the franchise, really got her over with the fans there. Even though they hated her as a heel, the fans loved her because she was everything that was ECW. A badass, beautiful chick that's going to go out there and take these bumps.
Oh, when did you get so nice? You're so nice now.
You can thank us for that.
Yeah, what? You just said we like there was no Google back then. You just dated us.
Yeah, we're 100. We're 100 years old. I know. But there wasn't. I mean, if there was social media, we might still be around. If you think about it.
True. Good point.
You know, we didn't have anything back then, and we were map questing. They didn't even have GPS back then.
Yeah. Well, remember when Bob Ryder used to sit up there in the Eagle's Nest and he would type the matches out?
Yeah.
You know, Francine just got power bombed to the table, big explosion from the crowd. And, you know, he'd go through and write these matches up verbatim, word for word, and you know, put it out that way. That was the closest thing to quote unquote social media there was at the time.
Yeah, we didn't have anything to help with, you know. I was just telling somebody, because I just joined Twitter, and I know Twitter's been around for like 10, 11 years, and I'm just joining it now. And I was like, well, I had a MySpace page. Like, well, that was so long ago, you know. I mean, technology isn't my thing, I suppose, but you know, we didn't have anything back then. I mean, look at what Paulie did. He put the lineup on a napkin and taped it to the wall.
Yeah, right.
He couldn't even print out the matches for it.